Bronze Bomber Deontay Wilder.
Thank God I had judges, amazing judges that night that can read through all that, because he wasn't doing that. He was actually missing a lot of shots as well. I never got credit on the things I was doing good, and I always got credit for the things I was doing bad.
Why?
Why? A lot of stuff. I'm 41-0 with 40 KOs. Forget the draw, because that wasn't no draw. I knocked him out. Jack Reese showed favoritism. He had an emotional connection to Fury because of his story, along with everybody else, along with the commentary, because they had emotional connection, which you don't do. Jerry said he went off the spirit of boxing and not the rules. What are you talking about? Your job is to count.
You know, there was a history in the fight that he was, you know, really getting knocked around, and he felt like that and hit his head. I would have waved it off. But the fight was so close, the magnitude of the fight, you know, a heavyweight championship fight. I've always been taught to count a champion out.
Walker plainly is intent on staying away now. Be careful. That's the right hand, Walker. And Rocky Marciano is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Look at all the talk. Look at the controversy between who they thought won the rematch. This thing, there was such a buzz over this. I think it's best for boxing. Let's see it again. So I always try to do that.
You have to be able to hit him, or he can just have free range target practice. And when he can have free range target practice, that's when he goes the run. He trapped him in the corner, fired one shot to the cheekbone, and down went Willie Monroe. Trying to get his legs back. His legs are not back. But like I said,
Jack Reese is giving him a little extra time here.
Yes. You can't let Golovkin have free range target practice at you, because he's going to catch you sooner or later.
Oh, Golovkin had a wide open shot to the left hook and missed it. He could have brought a finish to this if he had landed that punch. Once again, traps Monroe in the corner.
Monroe's still a rule on his feet. Golovkin won't give him room to think. Crosby keeping the pressure on.
Now goes Monroe for the second time. We've got a minute still to go in round number 2. Golovkin trying to match Chocolatito with a second round knockout of his own. And you can crowd is getting its money for it.
Of course they are, Jim.
They came to see the knockout artists, and they're not half as many. 56 out of 169. Golovkin took over the punch count leadership in the last round again.
Hurt him with a right uppercut. Right uppercut hurt him really bad, Jim.
He's wobbled Monroe again.
Yeah, right uppercut.
Got him against the ropes.
Right uppercut hurt him really bad. The hook can hurt him loose. He's out of here.
Third knockdown. There were 2 knockdowns in the second round, and now he knocks him down for the third time here in the 6th. 7, 8, 9, 10. You just beat it. You just beat it. You gotta move faster. You want to continue?
His legs are gone.
Continue.
His legs are gone. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Willie Monroe says to Jack Reese, I don't want to continue.
He said, I'm done. And he was.
I guaranteed that there would be head clashes before this fight started. And I also guaranteed my cleaners that I'd be bringing in on first.
Reese is calling it.
I'm good. You abandoned the fight. You abandoned the fight.
Listen to this exchange.
Turn your back and abandon it. No.
That was quick.
No. You abandoned the fight, dude.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Turn your back.
No.
Martinez
is
arguing that he's fine. Jack Reese is saying you were taking shots, you got hit, you turned around, and you gave it up. There it is in real time.
Good body shot there. Good left hook to the body. He got hurt. You know, he turned around. There's no doubt about it. But if I'm the ref, maybe I ask him, what are you doing? Do you want to stop before I stop it? There's no doubt what Reese saw there.
I'm good. You abandoned the fight. No, I'm good.
Again, watch the left hook to the body. I think that's the one that does the most damage. We talked about the left hook to the body being a good punch. And then a little left hook to the head. Not real clean. He turns around. There's no doubt about it. Reese saw what we're seeing here. Let's take a look again. Good left hook up top. Real good left hook up top by Lopez. That hurt him. There was early punches to the body. That left hook hurt him, no doubt about it. You gotta kind of agree with the ref there because, you know, he got hurt with that left hook. Instead of grabbing, instead of clinching, instead of moving his head, instead of going down to a knee, instead of doing all those options I just laid out, and they are options in that squared circle, he did the one option that's really not an option. It's called fighter.
That's the best way to put it. It's the thing you can't do.
You know, he did it no mas almost. You know, he turned around, he turned his back to the fighter, and as Jack Reese said, he basically said, I no longer want to fight.
One of your job is to count. Go back and look when you see Fury getting up. First of all, he didn't even start counting immediately. He's over him. He's counting. Then it's got to 4 because the outside person supposed to already start counting. He picks up what they count. So it's supposed to be 4, 5, 6. 8. Fury getting up. You can see him pausing. You can see it 9. Then, you know, he allowing them to come back. You got to count them out.
I wanted to give him every opportunity, so I took my time. Not that I stole the count like these knuckleheads are saying.
Yeah.
I just was patient, and I went down to make sure what I was doing was correct because I want to do what's best for boxing. I always want to do what's best for boxing.
That was all emotional decision. All those days add up and accumulate to people think, well, he really won when he didn't win. He didn't. It wasn't no 10. Are you serious?
I've never seen this happen before with Mike Tyson. He's always been an initiator. Here he's against the ropes. I've never seen.
And there's a right hand uppercut, and down goes Douglas. As suddenly as that.
Can he beat the count?
He got a little overconfident. Got a little loosey-goosey. Still wobbly. Let's see what Mike can do to finish. And the bell ends to save Buster Douglas at the end of round 8.
Let's see if what Douglas has when he comes out for this round. 7 down. Round 9.
Shades of Ray Leonard against Tommy Hearns. Douglas coming back with his head. Tyson is wobbling. Tyson needs the ropes for support. Douglas wailing away. Without the ropes, Mike would have gone down. Plenty of time left in the round. Both fighters weary from the pitched battle. Mike Tyson was on the verge of going down. And again, the champion wobbles back to the ropes. Solid right hand by Douglas. A desperate one-eyed fighter. Rolling willingly just to try to get in the shot that will finish things in.
Oh, the uppercut.
What an uppercut by Douglas, and down goes Tyson.
It's over.
If you see a young fighter that you would want to pass the torch, is there anybody right now that you see that could potentially be that fighter? Is there any young guys that you look at and you're like, you know what, there's something about you and I want to fight you? Is there anybody like that right now currently in the boxing landscape?
You know what, the potential, I don't know how old Ortiz is.
24.
Oh, 24? He has a big potential. He's strong enough. What he needs is focus on speed, develop his speed.
And what I like about him also is the fact, even though, as Max said earlier, he's knocked out so many of these top-notch guys so easy, when he did have to go a long, durable fight with Emmanuel Claude, which is very tough when you fight those type guys, where you have to throw 10 punches to one, he survived and scored a knockout in, I think, a 10th round. So I feel very good that he's going to be a great fighter, whether it's a short fight or a long fight.
Ortiz got caught leaning into the right and the left combination. Counter right, and then Ortiz drops Maidana. Ortiz gets
His legs are very shaky, Bob.
He seems to be the worst for wear. He doesn't seem to be as stabilized.
He needs to hold, or this could be very bad news for Ortiz.
Ortiz was down in the Asalas fight back last year. Got up and finished him off, but Victor Ortiz is in trouble. Can Maidana finish him? Ortiz short left.
The good thing about both guys are punching.
What a round one. Both men have been down. Ortiz holding on with that left hand.
But I think that's smart to try to smother this guy and not give him any space while he's hurt.
Final seconds of round one.
And every punch this round has been a power.
What a round!
No abra las manos, Victor. Bajaste las manos, Victor. Bajaste las manos. No
Victor, you put your hands down. Don't bring them down, Victor.
Reacciona, acuérdate, Victor. Déjame hablar. No queremos que haga errores.
Come on, no errors. No errors, Victor. You can do it. You can do it. Don't bring your hands down. Close up your defense.
What about if you're on the other side, the Maidana camp?
Maidana has got nothing to lose. All he can do is just do what he's doing, just come out and brawl and hope that he can land the shot, because he doesn't have the boxing skills of Ortiz or the speed.
There's that looping right hand.
That's what he's got to do.
Neither man is really bothered with a jab. All power shots. Good left hand to the body.
What jab?
Exactly. No jab.
If someone was keeping the jab count tonight, they would have an easy job. Everything is a power shot here.
Manos libres, déjalo ir, Marco. Saca la mano, Victor.
Maidana walked into a shot. It looked like their heads even came together. Right hook to the body by Ortiz. Ortiz tried to load up a power shot. Maidana counter right hand. Drops Maidana.
That came after Ortiz was badly hurt against the ropes.
I think that's it. It looks like in his back he just said he quit.
Here comes Ortiz trying to finish it here in round two. He's got power with both hands. 10 seconds to go. Steps into the left. Hooks to the body. Maidana trying to fight back. He goes down again. Cannot be saved by the eliminating round. He's up and he's getting his count.
Oscar De La Hoya is motioning to Ortiz, pointing to his head, saying, "Be smart," from ringside.
Power shots at 54%. Each man was down once in round one. Maidana down twice in round two.
Yeah, you know, he's got to respect the punching power of the other guy. Another guy doesn't have that much boxing skills. He's a much more cruder fighter, and as the fight drags on, his punches are becoming wider and sloppier, where Ortiz's punches are still short and accurate. So it would be wise for him to make it a technical fight at this point right there and pick his punches very carefully and not get too careless.
Good right hand, though, by Maidana.
I mean, Ortiz made a few moves that looked a little defensive from long range. Got hit right on the chops by a good right hand. But responds, you see Ortiz's temperament. When he gets hit, when he gets hurt, he responds by attacking. Maybe not smart, but it's fan-friendly.
That shot hurt Ortiz. Youngest of 8 brothers and sisters. And Maidana just missed with the counter right. Got the shoulder of Ortiz.
There have been whispers in boxing about Ortiz's chin recently. And we've seen him down and badly hurt in this fight, albeit against a good puncher. But there's never been any whispers about his heart, and you can see why. Clearly, Ortiz has a lot of heart.
It goes back to his life. The punches of Maidana's getting slow and wider now, even though he's punching with a lot of power. But you know, it seems like at this point Ortiz can see his punches and kind of adjust and prepare for them a little better.
Upset here in round number 3. No knock.
2 rounds, to 1 even in favor of vicious Victor Ortiz. Well, the first round, I got to tell you, you had to score a 10-10. I mean, there just wasn't the winner. Both guys scored knockdowns, but, you know, there was just no advantage to either guy. In round 2, Victor Ortiz had a 10-7 round because he scored 2 knockdowns, and I thought Victor Ortiz still won the 3rd round, even though Marcos Maidana's got that sneaky right hand that he gets in. But in round 3, Marcos Maidana started to do this. He started to hold, and you can see Victor Ortiz stayed on top of him, got the best of him. 2 rounds, 1 even in favor of Victor Ortiz.
A rare even round from Harold. Hard to argue. Both men were down in that first round.
Maidana, meanwhile, although he is getting a little sloppier, remains a very dangerous opponent because not only can he punch, but his will has not been broken. He's still in there trying to win. He's not just riding out the string here.
That's a good point. And also, there's been a lot of, to me, seemingly hard rabbit punches, semi-rabbit punches when those guys get caught. One guy will be holding one guy's arm and hit him with powerful shots right on the back of the side of the head.
You know, Maidana got dropped in the first round and twice in the second. He hadn't been down but once in his career. That was back in 2005 against Omar Leon.
After the second knockdown in the second round, it seems like he wanted to quit.
No, he hasn't fought that way.
No. He got up and fought just opposite.
1 minute to go in the 4th.
You know, I would really wonder if Ortiz would use his right jab a little bit more and utilize that. And I think that would change the whole fight to some degree. And then he would be able to land a nice, clean, precision type punch. The way it's going now, anyone can catch anyone the way these 2 guys are fighting.
Double right hand. Maidana blocked part of it. Drifts away from the game plan.
Yeah, but I think overall he's been fighting good. I just think he needs to box a little bit more because he's still a much more accurate puncher at this stage of the fight and much more precision than Maidana is. And I think he needs to box a little bit because he don't need to trade so much.
One of the hallmarks of
Maidana,
great fighters and championship fighters, is that when they get hit, their instinct is to throw 2 back. And Ortiz certainly has that component. Has that element in his fighting personality. Maybe not always the best idea against a puncher like Maidana.
Oh, Ortiz doubled up that right hook. Man, we saw Maidana cautioned again for that punching behind the head, that rabbit punch.
Those are not no light punches. Those are some very hard punches behind the head.
Stop! Maidana chasing Ortiz, shot an uppercut inside.
Ortiz couldn't fight. He actually was moving like a boxer without boxing.
They exchange big shots and then hold on. Now they're trying to fight out of it. Ortiz is cut on the right eyebrow.
The way these guys are running, anybody can go down.
These are nuclear shots these 2 are throwing.
Now that's going to give Maidana more energy now after seeing the blood coming. Even though he was cut himself with a slight cut, now he's going to get more energy now.
Now the question is going to be, is that cut from a punch or an accidental clash of heads? Good shot by Maidana. Right up the middle. Oh, big right hand by Maidana.
Maidana cannot miss with the right hand.
Victor, how are you feeling? Victor, how are you feeling?
We're being told it was from a punch. Referee Raul Caya Sr. says the cut is from a punch.
With that left. Victor, you want me to stop the fight? I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it because you're bringing down your guard. You're bringing down your guard. What's wrong, Victor? Come on, Victor, react. React, I'm going to stop it. Yeah? Come on, give it all.
Right here, you can see Maidana laying the left hand right on the eye, and that's what caused the cut. No doubt about it. It was definitely not a butt. Here we see Maidana come in here and throw a right hand once again. right on the other. Could have cut his other eye, in fact. Tremendous shot.
So it's been ruled a punch, and Maidana comes right out to start round number 6.
Ortiz has to find an answer for that right hand Maidana's throwing, or he's not going to win this fight. I mean, he promptly dropped you, and you looked badly hurt. Were you badly hurt?
I'd be lying if I said no. You know, he does pack some power behind the punches, and hey, it just wasn't one of those nights, you know, and congratulations to him, man.
But you got up, even though you were badly hurt, and continued to fight hard, and it impressed a Staples crowd, where, considering you're a headliner, is an impressive draw for a young fighter. Were you spurred on by the crowd?
I'm not gonna lie, man, the crowd did get to me, and it's one of the first times ever it's happened to me, you know. I usually keep composed and take my time with it, but for some reason, something inside me just kept saying, I'm gonna knock him out, I can knock him out, I can hurt him. And I fought really dumb, you know. It was a fault on my end. My coaches told me exactly how to fight him. We trained the way we were supposed to fight him, and hey, it was my mistake, not my coaches, nobody else but myself. And hey, nothing but the best to him, man. Congratulations.
And you proceeded to drop him a couple more times. Did you think you had the fight in hand at that point?
You know, it's hard to say because I was kind of in a little daze still. So, I mean, as far as me beating him, I was kind of like questioning, hey, I still need to take my time and maybe I can hurt him once more and then finish it. But I don't know why in my mind throughout all the training camp and everything, I kept thinking, hey, I have the power to knock this guy out.
Considering you did climb off the deck early in the fight when you were badly hurt, fight in the days in front of all these people, go on to sustain a cut like that and keep fighting, what finally convinced you to stop fighting?
You know, I was hurt. You know, I'm not gonna go out on my back. I'm not gonna lay down for nobody. You know, I'd rather just hey, you know, I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead, and that way I can speak well when I'm older. You know. We'll see what happens from here on out, man. I'm young, but I don't think I deserve to be, you know, getting beat up like this. So I have a lot of thinking to do.
Victor, there was a change in your demeanor just now where you locked your eyes on Floyd.
He did?
He did, and got a little more serious. What was it that Floyd said that got you focused like that?
I just want to be one of the best of the best.
Seemed to show his hands are quicker.
And that he thinks that he can really touch Ortiz from close quarters.
Well, two of Floyd's favorite punches and most effective is a little short right hand lead that he does very effective when he shoots it almost at the same speed of a jab. Here you see Floyd Mayweather landing, which is his favorite and best punch in this fight, right hand leads. But after the right hand, you watch, he never comes back too much with the left hook. He lands that one punch, and then he goes back to defense, making sure he doesn't get hit back. So he's systematically winning the fight on points as it's going right now. I would like to see Floyd do more using his left hand now. He's jabbing and hooking. Ortiz doesn't know how to fight backing up. He's an aggressive young fighter. If Floyd can back him up effectively, he may possibly stop him, at least, but he'll win by a much wider margin and take some of the pressure off of himself.
In case you did not tune into 24/7 or follow the build-up for the fight, you may conceivably be unaware of Victor Ortiz's amazing backstory. Raised in Garden City, Kansas. His mother abandoned his family when he was 7. His father abandoned his family when he was 11. He was functionally helpful in raising his younger brother. Wound up living for 3 years in high school with a foster family. Boxing was his way out in a very big way.
Well, both fighters have really been battling for themselves for a long, long time. And Mayweather looks like, I have him, I'm going to just chop him down systematically.
But, you know, Victor's going to have to increase his output because right now Floyd is systematically breaking him down.
No, they're fighting at a Floyd Mayweather pace.
Floyd is fighting a beautiful fight right now.
And now the left-hand lead lands again for Ortiz. Mayweather's not expecting Victor to land with his left hand, and there's a hard right hand by Mayweather. Ortiz walked right through it. Good left cross by Victor Ortiz. He's quick enough to fight with Floyd Mayweather.
The 8th, Floyd Mayweather. Jim, in round 3, Floyd got into his rhythm, beat the heck out of him, and he's continuing right here. Look at those right hands. Beautiful. The left hooks, beautiful. 2-1, Mayweather.
Mayweather seems to be putting substantially more pop on them now in this round.
Mayweather usually is the Zen master of non-aggression. To be aggressive as well as showing his boxing skill.
Ortiz got Mayweather into the corner, but could only throw one punch before Floyd got away. Mayweather lands a chopping left hook to the side of Ortiz's face. Misses with the right. And Victor Ortiz lands a right hook. He got one in there, and he lands another one. And a big left. And Ortiz is ripping Mayweather against the ropes. And Floyd's making a miss and stepping away, but that brought the crowd to life again.
But the best punch here so far has been right hand leads. Those short right hands right there.
Mayweather jabbing Ortiz. Victor wants to get inside again. Ortiz's greater strength showing up when they go to the ropes. Ortiz is still walking through Mayweather's big shots, but his right eye is beginning to swell. And he seems to feel the urgency. Pushing Mayweather back against the rope, jumping on it. Cortez calling timeout. They're talking to each other. And he's going to penalize Ortiz for butting. I said he jumped on him. Cortez judged it to be Ortiz trying to butt his head.
What are we doing now? Let's go. Coming.
Ortiz is apologizing, and Mayweather was punching.
But it was legal. It was legal.
slick thing where he's throwing a hook, but it looks like the hook is landing. In reality, he's landing the elbow. So he started hurting me with that elbow. I took 16 of them. The 16th one, but between there, I called about 4 of them to Cortez. Elbow, Cortez, right. Elbow. He says, keep boxing, Vic. Keep boxing Ortiz. Okay, cool. And then I went back to tell my corner at the time, hey, he's hit me with that elbow, man. Like, it's hurting me. They're like, well, tell the ref. I was like, I've already told the ref. They're like, well, do something, headbutt him. And I go, that's pretty dirty. They're like, well, he's gonna make you go blind if you're not careful. And I go, all right. So I took it in and then took it right out of my mind. I went back in and I'm starting to catch him. So 3rd and 4th, I start pressuring forward, and he has this look in his eyes like, oh, I've never been hit like this before. What's going on? He was going back uncomfortably. He wasn't going back on his terms. He was going back like, oh man, this guy's making me go back. So I'm coming forward. I got him against the ropes. I remember that whole little, that little thing he does.
The defense, the lean back with the elbows.
That defense don't work for me. I'm left-handed. So everything he does like this is coming in, boom, boom, just catching him. And then out of nowhere, he throws that elbow, boom. And I just remember it felt like he ripped my retina, like tore my retina. When he did that, I was just like, man,
that headbutt came back in your head.
Yeah.
Like, we were like, hey, bud.
I felt bad though. I felt like, hey man, I had 161 fights as an amateur. I never did anything dirty in my life. I had 35 fights with doing nothing dirty as a pro, and my 36th fight, which was Floyd, I remember I felt like a dirty person, So I remember the ref was looking out the ring. I looked at Floyd, and then I was waiting for a time in. I looked at Floyd, he hit me, boom. And I just remember I said, okay, I probably deserve that, bro. All right, we're good, we're solid. All right, cool, man, cool. So I come back and I go, ref, time in, ref. And then I looked at Floyd, and boom, lights out. I wasn't knocked out, but I couldn't beat the count. Cortez came back and counted very fast, and it's probably the fastest anybody's ever counted on my behalf.
Oh, another right hand, left hook again by Josecito. Lopez, right hook again.
He knows how to fight, and he believes in himself. But it was in the heat of the moment. Now, 5 minutes is what he can take to get himself ready to continue this fight. And if he's smart, he will take all 5 of those minutes.
Pose. We're good to go. 5 rounds. That step up against a combination.
Do you want the fight or what? Don't open up and let's win this good fight.
Ortiz pawing with the jab. Straight left hand connecting by Victor Ortiz. Now a looping left hand may have been blocked. Left. That's why we love boxing out.
It's been a dramatic night, and this is the drama that tops it all off. And you're right, Gus. This is when boxing is at its most unpredictable.
Let's go to Jim Gray in the ring.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Gus. Is your jaw broken, Victor?
Yes. Josecito busted my jaw.
At that last punch at the end of the round?
I had my mouth open, so he broke my jaw, but it's okay. I'll be fine. My coaches wanted me to keep going. It was kind of tough. I couldn't close my mouth, and it kept hurting every time he kept touching me. So.
Did this happen at the end of the last round?
About the first round. First round. The beginning of the round. I'm sorry.
Beginning of the round.
Yeah, and it's just kind of a little painful. Sorry.
Obviously, you come into this fight, you had thought that this was going to be just an opponent as you got ready for Alvarez.
He's good. I knew he's good.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Let's turn around and get Josecito. Josecito, congratulations to you.
Thank you, man. I'm happy. I'm excited. Like I said, I had to fight the fight of my life to win.
Now that we're a couple days removed from this fight, some important notes I think to make. One that I want to make is that amazingly, even though Victor Ortiz has now was diagnosed with a jaw fractured in several spots, had internal bleeding, and was
having a hard time breathing because of the blood in his mouth, and now has had his jaw operated on and set. Astonishingly, even after all that, there are still writers, commentators, and fans suggesting that Victor Ortiz is somehow a quitter or a coward or whatever. I'm going to tell you, that's the most absurd notion in the world. I know Victor Ortiz has had a past that dogs him a bit. Comments after he lost to Marcos Maidana that made some people feel like he was less than gallant. The loss to Mayweather, in which he had a complete mental lapse, and some people, for some reason, thinking he wanted a way out of that fight, which is speculation. But all that having been said, the fact of the matter is Victor Ortiz went in with Josecito Lopez. They traded big punches for 9 rounds, and the man had his jaw broken in 2 spots and had serious injuries. Why would he continue? Have the people who are criticizing him fought for 3 rounds with a jaw that's broken in 2 places? Have they fought with blood making it so they couldn't breathe? If any of those people have, I'll accept their statements. Now, yes, some fighters have fought with broken jaws over the course of several rounds, some many rounds, but there are different kinds of broken jaws. And I just think that if a fighter can do that, more power to them. But I think once your jaw is broken in 2 spots and you're suffering all the things that Victor Ortiz did in that fight, I think it's perfectly acceptable to call it a day, because that's a serious injury. And we don't want to see fighters get hurt down the line.
Left hand of the body to start things by Ortiz.
Here's the thing, Victor also must be chomping at the bit. Yeah, more than 18 months.
Victor just used his head in there. 3-punch combination. Victor seemed to be a little bit tight, but better change.
Right hand by Ortiz.
He should look to really loosen up and try to set it up. Collazo looks a bit more loose as he's trying to now cut the ring down on Ortiz and make him uncomfortable.
2 southpaws, Paulie, what do you think?
Yeah, well, 2 out of 3 fights tonight have been a double southpaw.
These guys both experienced
a little bit of a rhythm now. Pretty good left hand there. So Collazo is more in sharpshooting mode. Ortiz is more in I want to land a big punch mode. Yeah, and he was staying step back, but he wasn't breaking them, and a lot of times more work is going to happen there.
Ortiz, the pursuer in this first round.
A little too anxious, though.
It's been mixed. It's been mixed as here Collazo cuts the ring off again. It's both guys pursuing in times and both guys boxing at times. Seems like Ortiz is looking for the bigger shots, though. Collazo landed a good check right hook there, but it seemed to wake up Ortiz, and Ortiz tried to get busy right after that.
You know, Collazo is holding his own. I mean, he's trying to establish, you know, like, I'm not going nowhere. I mean, come what you want to come with, but I'm not going anywhere.
Both guys, like I said, world-class fighters, and both guys are capable against each other.
There's a little headbutt in close quarters.
Mix it up in there physically as well.
Ortiz got warned earlier about using his head or, you know, getting his head in the way of
And again, both guys targeting the body.
Yep.
Give him up, give him up. Oh, good left hand there by Ortiz.
3-punch combination.
Collazo just took a good right hand, and it just gave us a left hand.
Yep. Anything you can do, I can do better, right?
Draft fighters, trap stats, and win. And in the first round, Ortiz a little busier. They both threw the same amount of punches.
Good jab by Collazo. This is where now you try to start to see who's going to start to take advantage of the pace of the fight.
You know, Ortiz come off a broken jaw, as we know. He just took a good right hand. I wonder what the effect as rounds go on, whether he still had that in his mind or...
Good left hand and good uppercut.
2 good shots from Collazo.
Collazo getting sharper. When you're getting hit with 8-ounce gloves, things can change.
With no hair game. With no hair game. So, man, I like to pay attention to it as the round go on. But both of these guys are at least... Collazo is hitting with sharper punches on the button.
Yeah, this has been a very good round for Collazo.
Seems like Collazo's offense is just a little neater. Seems like Victor's almost too much in a rush. If he can just slow down a half step and just kind of set himself up, he's almost too much in a rush, sometimes smothering himself, sometimes coming in off balance. Even when he's landing, he's not maximizing his offense. Collazo's got the better balance, so when he lands, it's more visible.
Yeah, double jab and left hand 2 times in a row by Collazo.
See, it's almost like he's too anxious, Victor. Instead of setting it up, he's almost too anxious to land the big shot.
Right hand and the left hand behind it by Ortiz. Second or two left in that round.
It was a big right hook. He never saw it coming. I told people before, Collazo is very live. This is a world-class fighter. People forgot about him, not because of his mishaps in the ring, but just because they haven't seen him. He's always been on a world-class level.
259. And it was all about business tonight. Took care of it in the second round. 1 second left in the round when he dropped it.
Excuse me, Doc. 259, knockout.
And you can see him start to get to it all through that round. Let's take another look at it here.
Big mistake. You want to reset your offense. You want to reset your position. Collazo made him pay for it.
And you made that point earlier in the round that was exactly what he was doing.
Yep, he was off balance. Too anxious. Way too anxious. Didn't pay attention to the defense.
The way I rationalized Collazo really beating Ortiz was that Ortiz already had that kind of quitter heart going into the fight. Then he took a year and a half off, did Dancing with the Stars and Expendables, and now I'm to believe that he came back and he's a tougher, harder fighter. I just didn't see it happening at all. And I thought Collazo was a real live dog. I feel like Victor let Collazo beat him in that fight, because I believe that if this was Ortiz prior to Berto, he probably would have beat him. But the Ortiz of nowadays, I could tell you, when we interviewed him before, like the week or two before, his head was not in it, man. He was there for the media. It wasn't the fight. It was the glam of the fight. So that's what I saw, and when I saw him quit, I'm done with that, man. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm just done with him.
Going into the fight, I thought that Ortiz still had the question mark. Obviously, he kind of resigned in fights before, so once you do it more than one time, it's always going to be there in the back of your mind that if you're pushed to that level again, when you turn the corner and you enter that dark room, some people can bust that door open and get out of that dark room. Other people they cower in fear of the darkness, so to speak. And basically, that's what Ortiz did. I mean, came out strong, and he really, really, led me to believe that he was going to be aggressive. And he was aggressive going into the second round. And, he got caught with that one shot on the jaw, that same jaw, in the same fashion that Josesito Lopez hit him, with the hook. But this was a right hook coming from the other angle. And once I think he got caught with that shot, started having flashbacks to Josesito Lopez. And he said to himself, probably in the back of his mind, I am not going to get put through this again, have to deal with swallowing my own blood and having to be forced to be with a long layoff again if this guy breaks my jaw. Because when he was on the canvas, you could see him still reacting to the punches being thrown at him as he lifted, his hands up to try to block the shots. He still had his faculties within there. You know what I'm saying? He still had his faculties about him. So, it looked like he resigned again. And I hate to use that word quit, but what he did this was the most obvious case of it. The other times you could say, hey, he was really, because it was deep into the fights when he resigned earlier in his career. This was real early. Like, he didn't even give himself a chance. Like, I'm going to come out and say it real, very controversially. There's no doubt in my mind that he could have got up and continued to fight. At least at that point in time in career. And I sound like an asshole saying that because it's not me and they're taking the shots. But I have to go by what I see. When I see a guy still moving his head around, lifting his arms up when he's on his knees, trying to block the shots that are still coming at him, that's not a guy who's separated from his faculties. That's a guy who is still have his wits about him. He could still fight. And if he's able to do that, then he could get up. There's no doubt in my mind he could have got up. I knew he could have got up. He didn't want to get up. That just goes back to that mentality. I don't deserve to be hit like this or to have to endure this punishment like I did. He was probably thinking of the Expendables. He was probably thinking of Dance with the Stars. Hey, I could go back to that. I don't need this anymore. And, it was very aptly fit that De La Hoya tweeted out. he should retire, because guess what? He should retire. He needs to stop. Mentally, he doesn't want to do this anymore. He's just not in. His heart is not in it.
I didn't expect that Collazo, any version of Collazo, would knock out Victor Ortiz. I expected that Collazo would bring some, toughness into this fight, but I thought that he would lack the pop. And then when he caught this man and didn't drop him, but buckled his legs, and Victor Ortiz kind of went into the seated position, giving his back to his opponent, which is automatic no-no, he got his balance. And Collazo did what any boxer would do, and he jumped on his man, and he hit him once, kind of behind the head, ear area, which is totally fucking legal. You shouldn't have your back to your opponent anyway. And Ortiz then doesn't go down, but after the second punch, he goes down, and he doesn't fall as if he was knocked out. He went into a doggy-styled fucking position. I've never seen a man get knocked out. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I don't remember a guy getting knocked out, not making a 10 count, like, still so conscious the way that he was. This version of Victor Ortiz clearly has a mental issue. That was not a knockout. Like, fuck out of here.
You know what it reminded me of? When you were a kid and your dad came at you, he was getting ready to spank you, and he started, hitting you a little bit, and you just cower, and you tuck your head in between your hands, and you kind of curl up in a ball and stuff. That's what that looked like to me. I mean, and I hate to be derogatory and insult the guy, but...
Like you say, ouch before the punch?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, at this level, I'm just not used to seeing that. Not from a world-class fighter, not from a former champion. And you would think that he did it before so much, he got so much flack for it, and you would think that he would say to himself, like, I don't want to go through this again. Like, remember when Devin Alexander had that incident with Bradley? Then he was put in another situation with Matisse where he was supposed to have that gut check moment again, and he rose to the occasion. I thought he lost the fight, but he fought like a champion. It looked at points where he could have quit, he could have went down, he could have wilted under the pressure of Matisse, but he hung in there. He got knocked down, he got up. He didn't quit. And a lot of people thought he quit in Bradley. He said to the fans, even in interviews, I have to prove to people that I'm not a quitter. I have to show people that I can withstand adversity. And he proved that in the Matisse fight, in his next fight. And ever since then, even in the Porter fight, I mean, he was pushed to the limit. Porter was pressuring him. And, he looked uncomfortable in there. But guess what? He still fought. He didn't give up. And you would have thought that Victor Ortiz would have said to himself, you know what? I have to repair myself. I have a lot of damage control here. I have to show these people what I'm about, that I do have heart, that I can continue to fight on through adversity. And, doing what he did in that second round, that just dispels all of that. And you really, I hate to say this, you really, really can't take him serious as a contender ever again after what happened the other night. No way.
Like, he has me fucked up. I don't know what's wrong with Victor Ortiz. I don't know if he's mentally unstable because of all the time that he quits, or
he's in denial, Nestor.
What's going on?
He has an ability to lie to himself.
B, that's why I'm confused, because a guy that doesn't take boxing serious and quits whenever he has the opportunity because this is just financial for him, and he knows that, and he's not worried about legacy, then why would he have the mental capacity to, even in defeat, when I tried to get my interview, his whole little entourage was like, no interviews, and had their hands up the way they would do any star coming into a crowded group room. And I was like, yo, Victor, you ain't gonna give me my 2 minutes? And then I said it in Spanish, and he turned around, he was like, oh yeah, bro, I did promise you 2 minutes, come on. And he gave me my fucking 2 minutes.
This guy has an ability to kind of justify things in his head. He loses and he laughs about it. And then he tells people, when you asked him, Victor, you look like you could have got up. You look like you were all right. And he said, no, man, I didn't know where I am. Like, he has a defense mechanism already in place to kind of justify his behavior. Like, he knew he could have got up. He chose not to. He has an ability to justify it by lying to himself. And he's almost to the point now where he may be even believing his own lies. And that's kind of a sickness. He may need therapy. There is something wrong mentally with that guy, I believe.
Feeling each other out here in the early rounds.
It's worth mentioning, too, that Victor Ortiz was once considered the heir apparent to Oscar De La Hoya. His loss to Maidana, I think, really haunts him.
Adversity early for Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz suffers an accidental headbutt in the first round. Carlos Vargas' cut man put him together as you take a look at the headbutt.
But certainly wasn't intentional.
Both fighters stepping in. It's common when a righty and a lefty fight. They both step in at the same time.
Round 2 scheduled for 12 rounds. Victor Ortiz, Andre Berto, both former world champions. There's a short left hook by Ortiz, getting through.
Now he's not wasting any time.
Berto still seems to be a little jittery in there. That's why he's not reacting too good to those left hands, because he's not relaxed. I don't think it's a good idea for him to be on the outside, because it's going to give Berto confidence. See, if he steps in and land those overhand lefts, he can hurt Berto, but he's on the outside and you don't get that much power when you're backing up.
This fight not going according to convention. We thought that Victor Ortiz would be the bull in this fight and Berto more of the matador, but Ortiz, very technical fight. Jabbing downstairs, jabbing upstairs, circling.
Victor's fighting very, very well. Controlling most of the distance, apart from the clash of heads.
He's boxing good, stepping around, landing some left hands, taking his time.
His feet look light.
Well decorated during his boxing career from Winter Haven, Florida. Born in Miami. Comes from a pugilistic background. Father, a mixed martial artist, owns Victor Ortiz. Blood pouring down his face, scoring a knockdown in the second round.
In the lead up to this fight, I was taken with all the regrets and the grudges that Victor holds. He's upset at the media. He's upset at the presumption that he wanted to be an actor more than he wanted to be a fighter. This night, he said, will be the proof that he's still a fighter first. So far, he ain't acting.
Berto has to be careful walking straight in. He's walking straight in. He has to use a feint or a jab or something.
But you can see Berto starting to find his rhythm now, getting looser, not as stiff in the third round as he was in the first two. Maybe that knockdown cleared his head.
Sometimes it takes a big shot to wake you up.
Jack Reese asked him, do you want to continue? He did not get an answer. No answer from Victor Ortiz.
Wow.
And he started out controlling that round with a jab to the body, and then as if Andre Berto pulled it back to the prime of his career almost 10 years ago and hit him with that magnificent right uppercut.
Victor got comfortable and got caught with the right uppercut, and that's one of Berto's favorite punches.
He forgot about Berto's favorite weapon, exactly.
Andre Berto told us at the first fight in 2011, he took Ortiz on short notice. He wasn't prepared. He was a young fighter that didn't take his opponent.
It's one of those punches I didn't see coming. You know, I'm lefty, he's righty, he caught me with an uppercut. I never saw that uppercut coming, and he's not a guy who hits soft, you know. Every punch he throws 100 miles an hour, you know, so he's one heck of a champ for a reason, you know.
Quickly, what do you do now?
As of right now, you know what? I haven't had a vacation or anything, so I'm going to take some time off, man, but I'll be back, man.
All right.
It's a must, you know. My career's been up and down for many, many years. I haven't had a perfect career, but here's the thing. I guarantee you every one of the fans out here tonight enjoyed my fight.
All right, Victor, we hope to see you again. Best of luck. Gus, back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
I thought, you know, it was an even fight coming in. You know, both have had their ups and downs in their career. Victor dropped Berto, but didn't really hurt him, and didn't try to finish him. When Berto hurt Victor, he knew. He went after him, and everybody seen, you know, Victor just didn't have enough anymore. He just couldn't really, you know, continue.
Are you surprised that he didn't necessarily quit, but he didn't respond to the referee? I mean, did that surprise you at all, Mikey, or is that kind of what you come to expect?
He tried to make it seem like he didn't quit. I mean, from what I've seen, and I think a lot of people will agree, he quit on himself. And that's not the first time that it's happened. He don't want to make it seem like that. He, you know, stood there. He got up at the very, very last second, thinking you know, Jack's just gonna stop it. Jack's giving him an opportunity. Ask him, and he pretends and acts like he's hurt, or, you know, waiting for the ref to stop it so he don't look like he quit. But he quit. He don't have it. He just don't have it. He's never had it. We were sparring back when we were 16, 17 years old in our gym, and I'm the first one to tell Robert and my dad, hey, you know what? This guy don't got it. He doesn't have the heart. He's gonna probably quit one day. And at that time he was too young, whatever, but he ended up doing it. He did it with Maidana, did it now, he did it with, you know, Floyd, did it with, you know, Collazo, and every single time, I mean, he's been dropped and whatever, but when the fight is stopped, it seems like he just decides not to, you know.
Robert, how surprised were you about what happened in the fight between Andre and Victor?
Look, I was more surprised of the way Victor was actually fighting the first 2 rounds. He was in control of the fight. You know, him and his team came out with a good game plan. He was doing everything perfect. You know, he was in control. He was winning. Dropped Berto with a nice straight left. I didn't expect that. Me, like maybe 90% of the people, fans or media, thought Victor was already looking towards the end of his career and already finished for, you know, what we've seen in his previous fights. But I was surprised with that. You know, they came up with a good game plan. They were doing actually a good job. You know, and it's not like, you know, I'm not the person that you guys could say, oh, I'm saying it because I like Victor. You know, we've had our differences. You know, we haven't talked in years. But you know, I respect that they came out with a good game plan, and, you know, but Berto comes in, lands a good uppercut and hurts him and finishes him. You know, it's part of boxing. That's the way boxing is. Perfect at the right moment, and it did hurt Victor. You know, a lot of people are telling me that it looked like he didn't want to get up the last time, but to me, he looked hurt. I don't know. I got to go watch the fight on TV and see how it was, see his face, his reactions, but to me, he was hurt. That's what I seen. You know, seeing it live, I thought he was really hurt. Jack Reese did his job. You know, he did the right thing. You know, he's perfect at that. He's seen it and he had to stop it.
What do you make of his ability now to take punishment? We've seen it when he's fought a guy that has a name. Things haven't gone his way. Collazo and now Berto, both down in those 2 fights.
Look, he's always had tremendous skills, and one thing that he does have, I know because I used to train him, is tremendous power. Yeah. He does have tremendous power, and he works hard. He trains hard, but you know, everybody always questions, you know, the heart or you know, his will to continue. Well, you know, they are hard punches too. You know, that happened with him against Maidana, and, you know, man, they were tremendous power punches. Now Berto, you know, he does get hit, and, you know, it seems like he goes down with those hard punches. You know, it's something that he has to talk it over with his team and family and see what the decision they make. But you know, like I said, you know, I got nothing bad to say. You know, actually, you got to respect that they came out with a good game plan. He was ahead. I think he was winning. He just got caught. It happens in boxing.
What do I think about it? I didn't really think much of it. You know, I just felt bad for Victor, the way things ended up for him, because honestly, I wanted to do more for him than what he did, and I think that fight wasn't supposed to end up the way it ended. First of all, the referee shouldn't have asked him, you want to continue? Because at that count, the fight was over. He wasn't completely well before he counted 9. When the referee counted 8, 9, the fight was over. I mean, it was right there, 10. I mean, you're done. You cannot continue. Don't ask the fighter, can you continue when he's not completely there 100%? That makes it feel like, okay, you don't want to continue. 1. Second of all, I mean, you can see that, yeah, he was winning the fight, but he was moving around trying to box a fighter that is smart, like Andre Berto. Andre Berto is a fighter that if you let him think, he out-think you, and that's what he did. You could tell Andre Berto shifting that shoulder from the first round, trying to land that uppercut. I wanted to be in that corner if he fought Berto again. I told Victor a long time ago, I hope you fight Berto again, and I guarantee you'll knock him out. And he goes, yeah. And when things came down, I stayed in the shadow, and he went back to Ventura, and look what happened. Honestly, me, I would have pushed his buttons to knock out Berto. By the 3rd, 4th round, Berto would have been out. I mean, all you have to do is do your research. When Robert Guerrero beat him, what did he do? When Soto Karass beat him, what did he do? You cannot give Andre Berto time to think, because he'll beat you. When Victor dropped him the 2nd round, me in that corner, I would have pushed Victor to go in there and don't give him an inch to breathe. And with that kind of power that he has, he would have beat him. I mean, he was hurt. When you have a fighter that is hurt and you drop him, don't give him time to come back to life, because if you do, that's what happens. He'll take you out. And I would have never had Victor box. I would have never had Victor moving back. It was always tighten up your defense and go for it. Put him against the ropes and smother him, get in there, because Victor has power. Victor has so much power. And once he gets in and starts pressuring Berto, he would have finished him before the third round.
How frustrating was that for you to see?
It was frustrating for me. And I would hear the commentators like, oh, Victor looks so good. He's moving well. He's winning this. And I'm like, oh, man, you know, even though they were saying he was winning, yeah, he was. But that wasn't the right way to win this fight against this guy, because that punch was coming. I mean, I was watching the fight and I would see Berto just shifting that shoulder, like getting ready to throw it.
Do you think he comes back after this, or maybe you think it's time?
I don't think he should, honestly. You know why? Because Victor, after what he's been through, the way people has attacked him, the way he ended up this fight, you know, even a fan threw a box at him. That was really disrespectful, you know. I mean, I just think that Victor, in order for him to come back again to the level where he was a couple years ago, a few years ago, it's going to be a long climb. At this point of his career, all he's going to do is going to be a stepping stone for the up-and-coming fighters. That's my opinion.
Victor's in town. Oh, fuck, here comes Victor. That's the guy he wants to be. So, of course, he's calling everybody out. And you know what I mean? But, you know, at the end of the day, the same shit's going to happen like it did last time with Cesar Lopez.
Yeah.
Fucked him up, but it's going to happen again. So, of course, I'm going to go to Cesar Lopez, a bad one. That's going to give me back. Because you know why? Heart, no heart. Balls, vagina. Who you gonna go for in the ring? Who you guys gonna go for? Balls or vagina? Okay then, so that's what I'm saying though. You gonna go with a guy with a heart or no heart? But at the end of the day, like I said, enough talking about this piece of shit, because I don't want to get no more publicity and I don't want to get no more credits to the motherfucker. So fuck him, and I'm gonna do what he always does. Oh, Victor who?
Ortiz has had some choice words. So he's had some choice words about this decision and where you are in your career.
Brandon want to fight me? Oh my God, who? Brandon, who? You fucking retarded motherfucker. Fuck that fool, man. He's trying to get a piece of the pie, you know what I mean? Because nobody's talking about him. So what he does, he put his name out in the media. He'll say something ridiculous, crazy, so we can start talking about him again. That's what he does. I'm not really worried about him at this point. He can say whatever he want to say. He can do whatever he want to do. He can go jerk off another guy. I'm not really worried about the guy no more.
The name I was gonna bring up wasn't Victor Ortiz, but
because usually that's the fucking question everybody's talking about. That's a fucking. Okay, next.
I don't need someone else to build my legacy. I mean, Floyd Mayweather did enough for me, and I really appreciate that, you know.
So what would be, if it's not you, was it Mikey Garcia Pacquiao or Danny Garcia? What would you want to see out of those two guys?
None. Mike Garcia needs to stick to 130, 126. If not, hey, I'm a contender. So it's just interesting to me how everyone keeps talking about, oh, Mike Garcia at 147, who did nothing against Errol Spence. Come on, man.
He went 12 rounds.
I called that. Errol Spence would have knocked him out if he wanted to. Come on, dude. You did this for 12 rounds. Why are you having your brother tell you, I'm going to stop the fight? Come on, man. Why don't you do it like I do? I risk everything. Win, lose, or draw. You can make any excuse you want in the world, but that's my 2 cents.
But you have to,
doesn't belong at 147. You're not at 147. Homie, you can fight somebody like me. Where you at?